Hi, my review today is on the new movie, the new Star Trek movie that came out May 8th. And I really like the Star Trek film. I really think it is a really nice film. And I just want to let you know that I want to let everybody know out there that there is going to be some spoilers in this review. Although, I know in the past, in my past reviews, I usually give up a lot of spoilers. So I just want to let everybody know that there may be some in here. So I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna put out that many. But anyways, let's move on to a little bit of the beginning of the story. In the beginning of the story, it takes place like kind of like in the past, before James T. Kirk is born, and his father, George Kirk, is aboard a Starfleet ship that's under a huge attack, a hostile attack by a huge Romulan vessel. Well, it ends up that George Kirk sacrifices his life in saving the lives of over 800 crew members, including his wife and his unborn son, James T. Kirk, who is also known as Jim. And so then we go on to, we see James T. Kirk, as a young boy, and then we see him grow up into a younger, a young man, like a guy in his 20s. And he lives out in a farm area. There was a scene where he's in a bar, and he gets into a brawl with a bunch of Starfleet cadets. And anyways, he ends up talking to Captain Christopher Pike, who tells him that there's a better life with Starfleet. And eventually, James T. Kirk joins. Fascinating. One of the things that I like about the new Star Trek movie is that I'm glad they've gone back to the original characters. Even though it's a whole new cast, I'm really glad that they've gone back to the original characters, because, I don't know about you, but to me, Star Trek was always, Kirk and Spock. I mean, that to me was Star Trek. I've got nothing against the Next Generation movies. I think they're cool, but I like the older characters better, like Kirk, Spock, Uhura, McCoy, Scotty. To me, that is Star Trek because when I grew up as a kid, used to watch reruns of the TV show, and I saw the Kirk and Spock movies, and I really enjoyed that kind of Star Trek. When I was a kid, I had the 8-inch Mego action figures with the cloth uniforms I had a model Enterprise that I got, one of my first, glue model models. It was the Enterprise ship, and so I've always grew up with the older characters best. Another thing that I was glad to see was Leonard Nimoy was in this movie as an older Spock, and because he meets the younger Spock eventually, because it has something to do with time travel. You know, um, the older Spock went back in time to, you know, back during the days when he first joined Starfleet. And so I was kind of neat to see Leonard Nimoy in that movie. And to tell you the truth, I like the older Star Trek the best. Fascinating. Star Trek is definitely reborn. I think this movie has done the franchise justice. I think that it was a good film. I think it was better than the last film. It's been 7 years since the last film, and I'm really really excited about this whole new cast. And I am really looking forward, and I think there will be. I'm really looking forward to future adventures with this new cast because everybody did a good job, and I mean after at the end of the movie, I really made me start thinking about a sequel. It made me start feeling that I want to see more of this cast, and so I think after what I've seen, and the movie is gonna I've heard that it's getting some success ratings. There's getting good reviews. It's gonna make money, so I think a sequel is in order. That would be logical. One of the things about this movie that doesn't seem to make any sense to me. I mean, well, people say that this movie is a prequel, but I think it's more probably reboot than it is a prequel because, for instance, there's something that kind of confuses me. In the movie, okay, like well, the old the old TV series from the '60s. There's an episode where Spock's mother and father comes to visit him aboard the Enterprise. Well, and I don't want to give away, I don't mean to give away spoilers, but anyways, in this movie, Spock's mother is killed. So I can't really see how this movie can tie in with the old TV series because if she's dead, right? So, um, so I think this movie is probably more reboot than it is prequel. I think it's just a re-jump start, or they're trying to start it up again, but with a different angle. But anyways, moving on. I thought that the sound was good. I think the special effects was good. Sound, everything I think in this movie was good, and visual effects. And when this movie comes out on DVD, I'm definitely going to buy it because I liked it. So I'll definitely be one of those people out there who will get this movie when it comes out on DVD. That would be logical. As of right now, after seeing this movie, I would have to say that it's definitely one of my favorite Star Trek movies. It's up there. My first and most favorite, my favorite Star Trek movie is The Undiscovered Country. I thought that was a good Star Trek film. I think it's the most underrated Star Trek film. But Undiscovered Country is one of my favorites. I like Wrath of Khan and First Contact, but this movie's up there with those movies of my all-time favorite Star Trek movies. So I like this movie. I think that it was it's definitely up there with those other ones. Fascinating. I think that I'm going to give this movie an A. I mean, I know I keep saying I like it, I like it, I like it, but after seeing this movie, it got me really enthusiastic about Star Trek again. I have to say that I'm mostly been a Star Wars fan, and I'd say I still am. But my other favorite franchise, Star Trek, that's my other favorite science fiction franchise, and I'm really enthusiastic about it again. And so, but I give this movie, I give it an A, and I give it a thumbs up. That would be logical. Well, that's my review, and everybody, take care and have a good week. Until next review. Live long and prosper.